Before we dive into today's topic, I want to start with something personal, something I think about often. I asked my mom and dad so many questions while they were alive. I talked to them about their childhoods, their parents, their cousins, all of it. But I never asked my grandmothers many questions at all. And now they're gone. My parents have passed, and all of my grandparents have passed. And the stories they carried, well, those are gone too. I once asked my 90-year-old aunt if she knew how my grandma and grandpa met. She didn't know. And so I'm left with only guesses. According to census records, my grandparents lived just a few blocks apart, and the Catholic Church stood right there in the neighborhood. And since they were both Catholic, I imagine maybe that's where they met, but I'm not certain. And here's another possibility. Back around 1914 or so, my grandpa worked for the Hams Brewing Company, and my grandma's dad owned a saloon. Maybe their paths crossed there. Maybe it was a love at first sight moment between beer barrels and swinging saloon doors. I'll never know. And that's exactly why interviewing your relatives now is so important. I don't want you to go through what I went through, because once your relatives are gone, the stories go with them. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how to interview a relative and capture those gold mine moments before it's too late. So let's talk about setting up these meetings. Don't just surprise someone with a microphone. You'll want your relative to feel comfortable, not interrogated. Start by reaching out with a warm invitation. You could say something like this: I've been digging into our family history and I'd love to hear some of your memories, maybe over coffee or even a Zoom call. Would you be willing to share a few stories? If they agree, pick a quiet, comfortable setting, somewhere they feel at ease. Their kitchen table, the porch, or even their favorite chair. If they live far away, video chat works beautifully. It still lets you read their expressions and reactions. Keep it casual. Let them choose the time and place, and give them a heads up about what you'll be asking. Not every question, but a general idea. Say something like, I'd love to talk about your childhood, family traditions, or what it was like growing up. That little bit of notice helps them mentally prepare, and often they'll pull out old photos or keepsakes before you arrive. Bonus material. So let's talk a little bit about your questions. The goal is stories, not just facts. Instead of asking, what year did you move to South Dakota? Try, what do you remember about moving day? Who helped you pack the car? Open-ended questions spark memories and emotion. Here are some great categories to include. Childhood memories. You could ask, what was your home like growing up? Who were your closest friends or neighbors? You could discuss family traditions. What holidays were the biggest events? Who did the cooking or organizing? Discuss major life moments. How did you meet your spouse or best friend? What was your first job? And let's even talk about historical context. What world events stand out in your memory? How did they affect your family? And don't forget photo prompts. Hold up an old photo and ask, who is this? Or what's happening here? Sometimes one picture will unlock hours of stories. Now let's talk about the recording of the conversation. You don't need fancy gear. A smartphone or laptop recorder works perfectly. Before you start, ask permission to record and explain why. Say something like, I'd love to record this so I can share it with our family later and make sure I get all the details right. Start with a little small talk to relax them. If they wander off topic, let them. Those tangents are often where the magic happens. And always end with gratitude. Tell them how much their stories mean to you and to future generations. Okay, so let's talk about turning this recording into research clues. Listen to the recording again, this time with a researcher's ear. Every name, place, or date might point you to a record that you can verify. For example, if someone says, "We moved to Iowa after the big flood," look up local newspapers for floods in that area. That clue gives you a timeline. If someone mentions, "I worked at a steel plant before the war," that's an occupation clue, maybe even a lead to draft cards or employment files. Use a notebook or transcription tool to highlight names, places, schools, or events. Each of those becomes a breadcrumb, leading to records that bring your ancestors' life into sharper focus. And I'll tell you, every time I listen to someone's recorded story, I'm reminded of the stories I don't have, the questions I never asked, and the answers I'll never get. And that's exactly why I make these videos, because every day we wait, more stories like theirs disappear. But you still have a chance to capture yours. When we take the time to interview our relatives, we're preserving more than just history. We're saving voices, laughter, and love that no document can capture. So start today. Schedule that conversation. And to help you out, download my free family interview question card. It's a printable guide with 25 questions to spark meaningful stories. You can find the download link in the description below. If this video inspired you, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and tell me in the comments, who will you interview first? Well, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, good luck with your research, and we'll see you in the next one.